Welcome, dear viewers, to another moving episode from Mr. Magazine, where emotions unfold more truthfully than any scripted drama and where the hidden lives of Turkey's brightest stars are told with tenderness and depth. If you love exploring the delicate border between love and loss, don't forget to subscribe, like, and tap the join button to become part of our growing family of story seekers. Today, we bring you a scene that no one could have predicted, a meeting that took place not under flashing lights or red carpet glances, but beneath the stillness of a funeral sky. It is here, in the quiet territory between grief and redemption, that Cemre Arda and Gökberk Yıldırım met again after months of distance, wounded pride, and unspoken words. There are moments in life when words become unnecessary, when the heart, stripped bare by loss, communicates in silence what it has long refused to admit. At a funeral filled with white flowers, solemn music, and restrained sobs, two figures who had once shared a world of passion stood again within a few steps of each other. Those who witnessed the scene describe it as hauntingly beautiful, a reunion not of lovers seeking reconciliation, but of souls momentarily laid bare before mortality's mirror. The tragedy that gathered everyone that day dissolved the invisible walls between them. It reminded both that resentment is fragile when compared to grief, and that sometimes the final farewell of another life becomes the quiet beginning of one's own forgiveness. When Gökberk Yıldırım entered the memorial hall, many held their breath. Few believed he would appear, fewer still imagined he would dare face Sera after the silent collapse of their relationship, a breakup marked by rumor, accusation, and misunderstanding. Yet there he was, not the self-assured actor accustomed to bright cameras, but a man carrying the subdued humility of someone who no longer wished to justify himself. Across the hall, Cemre Arda noticed him. Witnesses recall that she did not turn away. Her gaze carried neither accusation nor warmth, only the contemplative calm of someone confronting an unexpected truth. In that suspended instant, life seemed to whisper that some people meet again not to revive their past, but to close it properly. No one heard them speak, there were no embraces, no visible gestures. Yet the current between them shifted palpably. What unfolded in that hush was not romance reborn but burden released, a reconciliation woven entirely from silence. And perhaps that kind of reconciliation, stripped of spectacle, is the most authentic of all. Friends of the actress later confessed that something within her changed after that day. The once tense tone in her voice softened, the guarded posture she carried in public seemed to ease. She no longer deflected questions with irritation or distance. She began to breathe differently, said one friend quietly. It was as if she had left something heavy behind in that cemetery. Indeed, those who saw her leaving said her expression mixed sadness with serenity, the look of a woman who had just forgiven not only another, but also herself. The funeral, by its very nature, reminded everyone present of how brief our stories truly are. It dissolved ego and unveiled perspective. What once seemed unforgivable now appeared trivial against the enormity of death. Cemre, once known for her fierce independence, surprised even her closest confidants. The actress who had stood unyielding through months of gossip and public speculation suddenly allowed compassion to guide her. Not as weakness, but as release. Because sometimes forgiveness isn't a gift to the one forgiven, but liberation for the one who forgives. In a world where public disputes and emotional hardness are often mistaken for power, Cemre's quiet grace felt revolutionary. Her gesture told a different story, that true courage lies not in defiance but in understanding. She didn't need to issue statements or compose poetic captions for social media, her silence said everything. And that silence traveled fast. Soon, whispers of the encounter filled entertainment columns. Commentators who once called her distant or unreachable began describing her as a woman of depth. Even fans who had taken sides during the breakup now agreed on one thing: Cemre Arda had shown emotional greatness. For Gökberk Yıldırım, that funeral became a turning point. Gone was the man once eager for public validation. Colleagues noticed he had declined invitations, avoided cameras, and chosen work over social exposure. Those close to him revealed that the moment of forgiveness affected him more profoundly than any praise or criticism he had ever received. "He changed after that day," said a close associate. "He didn't talk about it, but you could see it." Forgiveness hit him harder than anger ever could. This quiet transformation did not announce itself with press releases. It appeared in small gestures, in patience, humility, and the newfound respect with which he approached his craft. Of course, the public's imagination could not resist. Online forums buzzed. Was this forgiveness a doorway to something more? Could time have softened hearts enough for love to return? Some fans romanticized the scene, convinced that such emotion must lead to rekindled affection. Others, more pragmatic, believed the opposite, that what occurred was closure, not renewal. They argued that forgiveness and reunion are not the same, and that maturity sometimes lies in walking parallel paths without crossing again. Neither Cemre nor Gökberk fed the speculation. They offered no photos, no cryptic posts, no shared projects. Their silence became its own declaration. Some stories are meant to end gracefully. Cemre's image in the public eye shifted dramatically. For years she had been perceived as proud, even cold. Yet now audiences saw warmth in her restraint and wisdom in her quietness. Forgiveness became her new strength, the invisible armor of a woman who no longer needed to prove anything. Critics praised her for embodying emotional maturity in an era obsessed with confrontation. "In choosing compassion," wrote one columnist, "she reminded us that peace can be louder than anger." Through this single, wordless gesture, Cemre Arda rewrote her narrative, not as a victim of heartbreak, nor as an idol of pride, but as a woman who chose peace over pain. Those who attended that funeral say they will never forget the image of the two standing within the same frame of grief. No music, no dialogue, just an atmosphere thick with shared history. To them, it felt as if the universe had orchestrated one final scene, not for a script, but for the healing of two real lives. And when Cemre finally turned to leave, the sun breaking through grey clouds, it seemed that the farewell belonged not only to the person they had come to mourn, but also to every unresolved fragment of their own story. Was this reunion a quiet goodbye or the first heartbeat of something reborn? Can forgiveness exist without love, or does love always hide behind it? Share your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing how you interpret these deeply human moments. And while you're here, don't forget to like this story, subscribe to Mr. Magazine, and join our community to support the team that brings you the most heartfelt, beautifully told stories from the dazzling yet fragile world of Turkish celebrities. Because every emotion deserves to be understood, and every ending, told with grace. In a time when fame often magnifies conflict, the quiet dignity shown by Cemre Arda and Gökberk Yıldırım reminds us that healing can happen even when cameras are watching. Their story, born from heartbreak and matured through loss, teaches that forgiveness does not rewrite history, it simply allows the heart to breathe again. Here at Mr. Magazine, we celebrate that kind of strength, the strength to let go, to move on, and to honor the past without being imprisoned by it. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and remember, the truest stories are always written between the lines.